Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Magnificent Seven stocks, seeing where price action has it today. And starting off with fear and greed, we did blip back up into neutral on the CNN Fear and Greed Index and have fallen back into high fear. And on pie vesting, similarly, got a bounce and came back down. This one's still in around the neutral territory. I know it says greed, but really around 50%. I consider that pretty neutral. Going into the Magnificent Seven stocks, NVDA, what a run it has been on. It is at a $2.99 trillion market cap, putting it right up there with Microsoft and Apple. I'm actually curious to see if it passed Apple up. So Microsoft at 3.14 and Apple at 3 trillion. So NVIDIA may become the number 2 overall stock in the world here pretty soon. And what a run it has been on. So if you were lucky enough to buy down here where there was some really good value at the 200-week moving average or even underneath it, or on one of these monthly, weekly buy signals, these green dots down here, then within a year and a half, you have 10x your profit. That's how much this thing has gone up in a short time. So if any of you are taking profits, I would not blame you. It went above the highest fib extension there is when you draw it out from the high to the low, the 4236. So it is time to start drawing new fibs. And as we take this off, though it is curious, like if it ever comes down, it'll be curious to draw this again and see where it's at. But now we can draw a fib from the low to the high like this. And as you can see here, when there is some consolidation, it will bounce off one of these levels, come back down. So before, when that was the only level that we had, came back down to the 236 and now is shot up and through. So right now, NVIDIA, it's looking really great. It's been above the 50-week moving average ever since January of last year. So really, these EMAs, these buy signals, obviously we can take either one of them off right now, but something to watch for to help us. There's a few indicators. Take a look at the bubble risk indicator, and as you can see, it was considered in more of a bubble over here and here, so there should still be some room to run. Now, there is weakness coming into the market in other areas, so do pay attention to what semiconductors are doing, because right now it has separated itself from the rest of the market. And on the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, we'll see how much higher this keeps going. If it is about level or higher, you could say this thing's still very bullish, but right now the peak is lower. Now, it is not done peaking, but if it does finish lower, then what you see here is a higher price and lower peak on the RSI. That would be bearish divergence. So just something to watch for. And NVIDIA, this thing is starting to go parabolic. So I do wonder how much higher this could go. Again, considering market cap, could this thing 2x from here? Yes, in a euphoric market, if we got something like the dot-com bubble, sure, why not? I could see this going to 5-6 trillion. Will it though? I don't know. This thing's already pretty overextended. So, higher risk, higher reward. If you have bought down here or here, if it keeps moving up at this pace, do know that your risk is heavily increasing of it having a drawdown in the near future. When that'll be, who knows? But it tested its former all-time high, has broken through. So if this thing just starts ripping up something like, I don't know, 1,800, 2,000, I would not blame you one bit for taking profits. Sometimes when these things just rip up, it can be hard to tell where the top is. If there is any way that you guys look to take profits, please comment those below. A couple things I look for, as I showed you before, when I draw the fibs from the high to low, you can see it hit one of the highest extensions. And this is just me speaking, but I would be more than happy with a 10x. But hey, you can let it ride. You can take profits, see how much higher it's going to go. There is a stock split coming for NVIDIA, a 10-to-1 stock split. So this 1200 number is going to be around 120 if that were to happen soon. But with the stock splits, if my words of caution would be if this thing is ripping into the stock split after it splits, maybe we can expect to see a little bit of a pullback there. Let's get into Microsoft. So Microsoft, it hit this 1618 level at around 434 and has come back down to the 20 moving average. Let's add on our buy sell signal indicators again. And so, and hide that. So it came back down to the 20 moving average after it tested this. So it got close, came down, tested it, came down. So I am looking for it to hit this level as well as rip up. Now, if NVIDIA is to all of a sudden start going parabolic, I would not doubt if some of the other Magnificent Seven stocks were to do that as well. Next area you would look for would be around 570 at the 2618. That's if things were to become euphoric, parabolic, all that stuff. Or this could be a local top in the market inversely, and then we might start coming back down to these levels. So hedge your bets as far as which direction these Magnificent Seven stocks are going to go. Apple, it has been on a tear. We talked about this 100-week moving average, how historically that has been really good value for a lot of these magnificent stocks. If it gets at or below the 100-week moving average, great area to dollar cost average into. And once it hit that for a few weeks, it has been on a tear and going back up to its former all-time high that it has hit twice before at around 200. So, there's a couple things that could happen here. One, it blasts through and goes to the 1618 extension, which would be, we're going to take our fib off log scale to take a look at it, which would be somewhere around 246. So 246 would be the next area to watch for. But what else could happen, in hindsight's always 2020, we'll see. We could be forming a head and shoulders here where it comes back down, and then if you measure out typically what a head and shoulder pattern does to the downside, you can see it would bring us somewhat close to this 382 at 149 and even this 200-week moving average. Sure, it'd be going back up, so it'd probably come underneath it again. But in the most bearish scenario, that would be a price to watch for. I already showed you a bullish scenario. And just something else to consider is, again, the pace and the height of which these stocks are moving really fast. So, this has only been a week and a half, and this thing has already gone up, let's see, around 16%. That's insane. Typically, for some of these stocks, you'll see good returns like that inside of a year. And this has done this in about a month and a half. Sorry, I think I said a week and a half. A month and a half. So some of these, me personally, I'm not chasing. There are good areas to dollar cost average into. Heck, if you love Apple and your philosophy is just anytime it's smacking the 50 week, I would not blame you. 1 second. Gotta stay hydrated. So anyways, I would not be chasing the market right now, especially if things are going parabolic, because on this channel we promote investing and finding deep value. And if things are going to go parabolic, the rug can be pulled and everything can just be falling up or going out the window pretty soon after. So do be cautious as some of these stocks rip up. Amazon hit that all-time high mark, set way back here from July of 21. It's hit it again in November of 21. And then again a couple times recently. Sell signal here. Came down to the 20. Overall, it is still bullish. Hit all these moving averages down here as well as the 382 and has been on a tear. So maybe this is getting ready to run up. And if Amazon is to get a bounce here and start running up, then we can take a look at that 1618 fib extension as a price target, and that would be at around 255. So 255 if Amazon can break through its all-time high. We'll see what it does here at the 20, whether or not it's going to bounce. I think that'd be a nice, strong, healthy bounce to break that all-time high barrier. Or if it doesn't, we have the 786 and the 50 moving average here at around 158 and 165. Let's go over to Google. And so Google is ripping up towards that 1618 area, and that is around 193. So Google, again, be cautious as these stocks are just ripping up. You can see just for like 3 months, 3 months about, we've had a weekly buy signal off the 20. Look at all these weekly buy signals off the 20. So, if you're willing to be patient, at the very least, if it came back down to that bull market support at the 20 week, you'd be eyeing here around 155, 157. Next, let's go to Meta. So Meta didn't quite get near that 1618, came down to the 20, to the 10, to the 20. So this is looking like it wants to rip up there somewhere around the 567 level. Let's zoom out here a little bit. Yeah, so 567 is the 1618 for Meta. Kind of like we talked about with Amazon. Could be getting a healthy bounce here. If not, the former all-time high in the 50 moving average is here at around 388. What a drop that would be. And the 100 is down here. There's a lot of good price action down here. So if things got very bearish, that would be an area to watch for in the future at around 300. That would probably be like if things were getting in a recession or something, but a 40% correction. Just something to watch for in the future. Not saying that's going to happen anytime soon. And lastly, let's take a look at Tesla, because that one for some reason is part of the Mag 7, though in my opinion it's really the Magnificent 6. Tesla, it's here on the macro 382. Really hasn't decided which way to go yet, but overall this thing has looked pretty bearish. It's at a $553 billion market cap, and just taking a step back, this is my bearish sentiment. It is 90% an automotive company, and it has 10 times the market cap of Ford and GM. And so I know people want to say it's a tech company, and maybe one day it will be, but as far as how they make their money, it's hard to argue that. And also, not only does it have 10 times the market cap, it has half the revenue of Ford and GM. So figure that out. So anyways, if you are investing in Tesla overall, outside of the chart, and you should do this with any stock you put into, do your research. Overall, it does seem that it's overvalued just for being an automotive business, mostly as of right now. Hey, if they are able to put 1 million self-driving Tesla robo-taxis on the road by 2030, Elon once said by 2020 that would happen. Obviously it didn't. But if that's to happen one day, then maybe we'll feel differently. I know Elon's talking about putting NVDA chips in his cars, which will no doubt help their AI and the self-driving capabilities. So right now, I think out of all the Magnificent 7 stocks, this is the one I'm worried about, even though it's already had bearish drawdown and even hit the 100. It hit the 100-month moving average. It did get bought up both times, even wicked underneath it a little bit. But as you can see here with Tesla, we have this giant macro flag wedge forming, and we'll see which way it breaks either way. What's interesting to me is how it starts to tighten up here right around the time of the election. So we'll see what happens there. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this brief video. Congrats if you're getting great profits on NVIDIA. I'll do a video on the stock market and earnings reports from this week if I have time. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you're all doing well and that you have a great Thursday. Take care.